Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable, where we are about to explore this passageway and figure out why everyone is gone.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Hello? Hello?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. Not through here? Escape? Are you sure I should go through there? What happens if I go this way?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, are you sure? I don't believe you.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
That looks... Well. What to do? Should I jump in here? Let's try it. Whoa.
As the machine whirred into motion,
Oh, I'm still alive.
Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. It reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
How about no? Let me jump out of this. Oh. Why can't he jump?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
At least I didn't have to suffer. Whoa. A box. Huh. Oh.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Yeah, what?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yes, I understand. What's this? Nature paintings? The office. So I made it to the game museum. Where? Oh. Yes, go on. Alright, the internet is not good at writing emails, that's for sure. What's this? Alright. Two options. One option? One doorway. Alright. Alright, let's find the end of this thing. That is cool. I'll say that. Exit. Yes.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Yep.
Can you see?
No.
Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape
Not this again.
and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Ow. I'm so dead. Anything happening? Hello? Anyone? Hello? Okay, so this game is still running. Nothing is happening. Let's try again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, let's disobey this one.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No. I'll disobey you.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So, going this way. What's this? Do not lie. If you are lying, stop right now. Well, would never lie. So, if you die, you pay money too. Can I take this? No.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Woohoo!
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
I feel flattered.
Someone you've forgotten about.
What, you?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh, there's a her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
What's up? Oh.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
47?
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
That's my number.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Whoops.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oh, this is going to be depressing, isn't it? You're depressing.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Cute.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
And he can't jump.
Every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
At least I have a microwave.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button.
Got me.
Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home.
Why can't I get into my bedroom?
He's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Wasn't there a couch there before?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
It did.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Yo, you're stuck.
Down one
foot is stuck
path
in
lay
there.
an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
Nope.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here,
narrator.
he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and
What?
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Whoa. Am I in Blackland again? Oh no. This looks different.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, let's check out this mind control room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Alright, I'm relaxing. Now let me get through the mind control room, okay? That's all I'm asking.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward
Did
into
that
the
happen before,
opened
too?
passageway.
What's that? Huh.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Here we are, finally.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. did he have the strength to find out?
Of course he did.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Where's me?
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it?
Where am I going?
Was it even possible?
What's happening?
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yes, I'll switch this off. There we go.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine.
Wow.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Alright, we're back in our room. I think this is a good time to end this episode. Thanks for watching. See you for the next one.